maidens. I don't like talking about them.
Why?
Because I feel, you see, the sport needs, football, when it comes to the women's game, it needs a lot of bodies, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of women need to be encouraged to play the game, fall in love with the game, and play for the senior national team. So that at a point in time, you have a wide pool to choose from, okay? So normally, you do not want to discourage people from joining our female national teams or from playing football. So I don't like talking about the Queens. But over the last few weeks, the Queens have presented themselves to us to dissect, to open up, to criticize, to raise concerns about some of the things they are doing in camp, some of the things they've done in camp, and most importantly, their performance. Let it be on record that by courtesy of losing to Malawi, the Queens failed to secure an automatic ticket to next year's World Cup in Brazil. Let it be on record that the Queens were beaten by 153rd ranked team in the world, Malawi. The Queens are ranked 60th per the latest FIFA ranking, or the last FIFA ranking that was released on June 16. Let it again be on record that at the WAFCON tournament in 2026, the Queens won 1 game, drew 1 game, and lost 2. The Queens lost to Cameroon, they lost to Malawi, played a draw with Mali. The only team they beat at this tournament was Cape Verde. So the team that finished 3rd in the last edition only managed a quarter-final berth, and they were beaten by debutants Malawi, who have now made it to the finals of the competition. The Queens, by virtue of the fact that they missed out on automatic qualification, are chasing Ghana's World Cup slot that has been elusive for the past 20 years. It should also be on record that the Queens have received enormous support in recent times from the appointment of a new coach in Kim Lasbjørkegrin. In fact, even prior to that, we saw Nora Hutler join the team. We saw her play lots of friendly matches. We saw Kim Lasbjørkegrin join this team, finished 3rd at last year's AFCON, even to the extent that the 3 Lionesses of England organized a friendly between themselves and the Queens. That is the level the Queens have gotten to in terms of how their performances has secured them international recognition. Okay? Now, yesterday, a document emerged till 8:09. As at 8:09 today, we are yet to hear from the Queens as to whether indeed they authored the said statement. But what we know is that some members of the team shared the same statement on their WhatsApp status. Nathan, true or false?
That's true. That's true.
Meaning that whatever is or was in the statement has received their full endorsement by virtue of the fact that they are sharing same. Nathan, true or false?
Yes, exactly.
So we can assume and admit that indeed the said statement that came yesterday is from the Queens. Because if the statement did not receive overwhelming endorsement from the Black Queens who are currently in camp, I am not sure the deputy captain of the team, Jennifer Kudu, would have posted same on her status. So, let me read to the good people of Ghana what the faceless, unsigned, unidentifiable, untraceable, and verified statement said. Because this statement, as we speak, nobody has owned up to say that, yes, I am Black Queens player. I endorse this document. So the statement only has Black Queens players as being the people who endorsed the statement. So Black Queens players, Nathan, true or false? Now let me read the statement. The statement was posted by a handle called Black Queens 25, Ghana Black Queens 25.
On which social media platform?
On Instagram.
On Instagram, okay.
Now, the statement has a Ghana flag, a small Ghana flag. And beneath the Ghana flag, statement from Black Queens players. Now let me get into the details of the matter. We, the players of the Black Queens, are proud to represent Ghana and remain fully committed to our country and the millions of Ghanaians who support us. However, we respectfully raise let me take it again. However, we respectfully wish to raise concerns regarding several outstanding financial and welfare matters. Now, they list the points. Outstanding bonuses including the Egypt 2025 bonus, WAFCON qualification bonus, group stage bonuses, outstanding per diem payments, better management support for players and officials, mental health and well-being support. The statement goes on to say, we dedicate our time, energy, and careers to representing Ghana. We train, travel, and compete under immense pressure, making personal sacrifices to make our country proud. Our request is simple: transparency, accountability, fairness, and respect. The minister came only once during our first official training session, and the president of the FA also attended that same session. Apart from that occasion, we have largely had to rely on ourselves, our teammates, and our technical staff throughout this journey. We deeply appreciate the support of our staff who have stood by us. We believe that financial commitments to players should be honored on time, and that the welfare of the national team players must be treated as a priority. We want to make it clear that this statement is not intended to create conflict or disrespect anyone. We believe in the Black Queens, and we want to see the team develop in a professional and supportive environment. Despite the challenges, we have continued to work hard, stay focused, and represent Ghana with pride. We respectfully call on relevant authorities, including the ministry and the appropriate decision makers, to listen to our concerns, engage with us, and work towards a swift resolution. We deserve the same commitment and support that we give to our country. Signed, the Black Queens players. Nathan, this is the statement that was released yesterday. Now, Nathan, let me ask you this. If players in a national team camp have concerns, who are they supposed to go to? If they have concerns, who are they supposed to report these concerns to in a national team camp?
So most likely in a national team camp, players will have management committee members.
Very well.
Or yes, the people in charge of the team.
So
or heads of delegation, whatever. But there will be somebody there, somebody higher up that the team is being supervised by, and that person will be the point person if there's a challenge. Now that person will act as a link between the playing body or anybody on this other side, i.e. players, coaches, staff, whatever. And then that person will be a link to the higher body. So you most likely have a management committee member or members. Yes.
So it must be on record that the Black Queens went to the tournament with management committee members.
Yes.
So if the Black Queens have concerns with regards to bonuses, welfare, or any other issue, the first point of call will be the management committee.
Yes, that is true.
So assuming, without admitting, or assuming the Black Queens had concerns, did they report same to the management committee? Did the management committee ask them to put their thoughts on paper and release it as a statement for the good people of Ghana? Is that what happened in camp? This is where I'm expecting the FA to address this issue. This is where I'm expecting the Ghana Football Association, who have been very silent. Their silence has been deafening. To respond to the procedures or the procedure when teammates or members of national teams have concerns in camp. And the FA again must come and tell the good people of Ghana if indeed the Black Queens had these concerns and actually agreed to put it on paper for the good people of Ghana. The GFA must respond. Now, Nathan, do you know that the Black Queens, the chairperson of the management committee, is currently facing the law?
Yes.
So it's the Republic versus the Gifty Owarimensa.
Yes.
That is the name, right?
Yes, exactly.
So she could not travel at all.
Yes.
But I'm sure Mr. Zida, who was announced as the vice chair,
yes,
is part of the document.
Yes.
Is part of the delegation.
Yes. He's in camp.
That's correct?
Yes, he's in camp from our sources.
Yes. So who else is in camp?
Salifu Zida is
yes,
in
Salifu
camp.
Zida is there.
And ASP Naomi Abdullahi. So at least these two people are there.
So
Salifu Zida is the vice.
Yes. So the appropriate channel for which these girls can express their concerns is there.
Yeah.
So coming out to the public is a no-no in the first place.
Well,
Per the structures within camp. Okay? That notwithstanding, the girls have made their concerns clear. And I'll attempt to deal with all these matters even before I get to the ministry statement. And Nathan, are the girls telling us that they expect the Minister of Sports and Recreation to be in camp with them from the start of the competition to the end? Or are they expecting the GFA president to be in camp with them from start to the end? Has that been the practice? Is that what has been the case every time they've gone to competitions? Nathan, this is shocking. This is very shocking. You see, some of these demands I find very problematic. If the Queens fail to beat Malawi and are looking for sympathy or looking for where to apportion blame where there's none, this particular statement from them doesn't do them any good. It is not as if the Queens are flying high in Morocco and have even reached the finals of the competition and are behaving in this manner. You have had a very atrocious campaign. In fact, a very disappointing campaign at this tournament. And instead of you to focus on preparing for the game against Cote d'Ivoire, which will give you another opening to attempt to qualify to the World Cup, you are here writing statements, looking for ministers of state to come and sit in camp with you before you can win games. Looking for FA president to come and stay in camp with you before you can go and play games and feel that you have the support of the state. Now let's deal with the matter of per diem. And this matter, I would respond to referencing the press statement released by the Ministry of Sports and Recreation. So yesterday, at approximately, you see, I have to give you the time, approximately 10:06 p.m., the Ministry of Sports and Recreation released a press statement clarifying matters relating to the Black Queens. Now, Nathan, it is a very interesting read. The ministry goes on to introduce the matter. Attention of the Ministry of Sports and Recreation has been drawn to a statement attributed to players of the senior national women's football team, the Black Queens, raising concerns about the outstanding bonuses, per diems, welfare, and government support for the team during the ongoing WAFCON tournament in Morocco. The ministry respects the right of our national team players to raise concerns regarding their welfare and entitlements. However, it is equally important that the public is provided with facts regarding government's financial commitments to the team. For the avoidance of doubt, and this one, they write it in bold font, government does not owe the Black Queens any outstanding per diem. On the 29th of July, 2026, Players and eligible officials received their per diems in advance for the period 26 July to 7th August 2026, covering the team's participation through the group stage and the relevant period thereafter. These payments were duly acknowledged by the recipients through signed allowance sheets. So Nathan, when we say an allowance sheet, what does it mean? The Ministry of Sports and Recreation has a special sheet of paper that is called a claim sheet. So claim sheet means you have gone to claim money. So when you claim the money, you write your name and then you sign.
Yes.
You write your name, the amount you claimed, and then you sign.
Yes.
So the ministry has since attached 2 claim sheets.
Yes, claim sheets. Yeah, you come across them in several.
Oh yes. Nathan, if you go to any assignment and you go and take solid, you fill that claim sheet.
When I used to teach at the Institute of Languages, I'd fill one at the end of every month. When I taught briefly at UPSC, you fill one too at the end of every month.
Thank you very much, Professor. Following the team's quarter-final exit and their continued stay in Morocco for the FIFA Women's World Cup playing qualification pathway, government made a further per diem payment on the 11th of August 2026, covering the period from 8th August to 14th August 2026. Nathan, so they have even been paid in advance. So they've even been paid in advance, per diem in advance. So this one in accounting, they write per diem prepayment. So they've paid them up until August 14. What's today's date?
August 13.
So tomorrow, they've even paid them up until tomorrow. Now, copies of the signed allowance sheets are attached to this statement in the interest of transparency, which the girls are calling for, to place the facts on record. Accordingly, as of 12 August 2026, government has no outstanding per diem obligations to the Black Queens. Let's go to the next subject. With respect to winning bonuses, the Black Queens recorded 1 victory during the group stage. 1 victory against Cape Verde, and therefore earned 1 winning bonus from the group stage.
1 winning bonus.
1 winning bonus from the group stage. Winning bonuses are processed differently from per diems. They are paid directly into the bank accounts of players and eligible officials after the required documentation, statutory deductions, and other public financial processes have been completed. The winning bonuses earned from the victory over Cape Verde is therefore being processed in accordance with established procedure. The ministry wishes to clarify the reference to an alleged outstanding WAFCON qualification bonus, including claims relating to qualifying matches against Egypt. Under government's current sports financing framework, qualification for WAFCON throughout the home and away qualifying rounds does not attract a separate qualification bonus. Government, however, meets the approved costs associated with the national team's participation in the qualification process, including per diems and other approved operational expenses. There was no government approval for the payment of winning bonuses for the WAFCON 2026 qualifying matches against Egypt. And this position was communicated to the Ghana Football Association. It is therefore inaccurate to characterize a payment which was neither approved nor established as an entitlement as an outstanding government obligation. Nathan, do you get that part? And I'll go further to explain that one into details.
Okay.
Because I have a document in my hands. I have a document.
That says what?
That speaks to how much the state released for those 2 games against Egypt. Do you know that the state released $320,000 for those games? I have a breakdown of every single payment that was approved. I'll deliver that in a bit. Don't worry. Today we have time. Ministry also takes note of concerns raised by players regarding welfare, health, and mental well-being. The Black Queens are currently supported by a comprehensive team structure comprising a team manager. The team manager is Aminu Shadow.
I don't
it's not Aminu Shadow. Okay. So. A team manager, team administrator, 2 physiotherapists, a medical doctor, a nurse, a dietitian, a chef, 2 management committee members, and Nathan, you've dropped their names, and additional technical officials, all providing the necessary medical, nutritional, administrative, and general welfare support throughout the tournament. Beyond these arrangements, the ministry has ensured that any legitimate additional welfare need be brought to the attention of the team management and is, as always, promptly addressed. The ministry's accountant attached to the team has also facilitated approved payment needs arising out of the regular operational arrangements. The ministry therefore remains committed to addressing any specific welfare concern brought through the appropriate channels, whilst ensuring that players have the necessary support to focus on representing Ghana. Government's commitment to the Black Queens and the development of women's football remains firm. The ministry will continue to provide the necessary support within the approved framework to enable our female national teams compete effectively and represent Ghana with pride. At this critical moment, the Black Queens are preparing for an important FIFA Women's World Cup qualification playing against Cote d'Ivoire. The ministry believes that the immediate national priority should be to provide the team with the environment, encouragement, and support required to pursue qualification for the FIFA Women's World Cup Brazil 2027. The ministry therefore encourages all concerns relating to financial entitlement and player welfare to be addressed accurately and transparently through the appropriate institutional channels. Government remains firmly behind the Black Queens. We wish the team the very best as they continue their campaign to secure a place at the FIFA Women's World Cup. Signed, Bagbara Tanko, Head of PR and Communications for Minister of Youth and Sports, Minister of Sports and Recreation, Honorable Kofi Eddie Adams. Attached is a copy of the allowance sheet and the claim sheet the Black Queens signed and collected money for during the tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, per the statement of the ministry and the evidence provided, it is clear that the claims in that statement that they are owed outstanding expenses is false.
Why do you say so?
Nathan, what do you need again? We have seen claim sheets with players' names,
Okay.
with a certain amount and signature of players. And that is coming from the Ministry of Sports and Recreation.
Okay.
Obviously, coming from the space holder. Now, I see 2 sheets. One, $1,300, another $700, with different dates from the 8th to the 14th, and then from the 26th to the 7th of August. All of these ones are well documented and submitted by the sports ministry. So that claim that they are owed per diem is false. So if the Black Queens believe strongly that they are still owed per diem, they should come out and tell us that indeed, contrary to the letter the sports ministry has released, or the statement the sports ministry has released, they are still owed per diem, and they should tell us the period. So that claim is false. The claim again that they are owed outstanding bonuses for Egypt 2025 again is false.
Okay.
Nathan, ask me why.
Why are you saying so?
Ladies and gentlemen, when the Ghana Football Association submitted the line items, submitted estimates for the games that were going to be played against Egypt, they requested for an amount of 320 United States dollars. So 320 US dollars. That was what they requested for. Now, that document was forwarded from the Ghana Football Association, signed by Prosper Harrison-Ado. Documents sent to the Honorable Sports Minister and the Chief Director. chief director sends that request. Listen, send that request to the seat of government, the Jubilee House, the office of the president.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the office of the president responded, requesting the approval of that budget for onward release to the sports ministry, for the sports ministry to take care of the Queens as far as playing those games and qualifying to the WAFCON tournament is concerned. Now, Nathan, when you look at the breakdown of that budget, Egypt versus Ghana, first leg, when you look at all the line items, nowhere in that budget would you find bonuses.
Okay.
Nowhere in that budget will you find qualification bonus. But you would find per diem. Okay? You would find per diem for players, per diem for officials. Again, you will find players receiving other incentives. So you see an amount of $2,000 multiplied by 20, that would be $40,000, which goes to the players. Head coach, 2 others also receiving money for that away trip. Okay. Now, when they came back to Accra, players and staff were taking care of their accommodation, food, airfare, everything, meals, everything was taken care of. The players again received per diem, 100 times 24 for 5 days. Officials also received same, $150, 5 days. There were 15 of them. So in that budget sent by the FA to the ministry for same to be transferred to the seat of government, there was no mention in that budget provision for qualification bonus or bonus for players. The norm has always been that when you present a budget, whether the bonus payment will be fulfilled by virtue of the fact that maybe the team will not win or win, you still include it in the budget because it is payment that has to be made. So every single budget that has left the Ghana Football Association to the sports ministry requesting money for competitions, every bonus payment has been captured as a line item.
Okay.
So the Black Stars at the World Cup, when the budget was presented, qualification bonus from the group stage, it is there. Qualification from quarterfinals from round of 16 to quarterfinals, it is there. If it is not expended, it is not touched. But if they win, qualification bonus is presented. Now, I'm taking my time to go through this because if the Queens have it in their minds that there was provision for winning bonus for the games they played against Egypt, nothing like that existed in the budget the FA sent to the sports ministry.
Okay. That was what I wanted to ask you.
So, as has been communicated to the FA, and in this release the ministry has brought out, there is no way the Queens can receive bonus outside the budget that was submitted to the seat of government.
Okay.
Now, I'm taking my time to explain this because people must understand the procedures when it comes to release of money for national teams. Look, fact is, the Ghana Football Association will put down everything they need for the team in terms of a budget. Same will be sent to the sports ministry. If the sports minister and the sports minister and the chief director sit with the FA and feel that there are some line items that have to be taken out because it will be an extra financial burden, they'll have that discussion. If they are convinced that these line items would be very important, they leave it as it is. Now, that document would have to be forwarded to the seat of government, to the office of the president. Because, of course, the sports ministry does not have that money sitting there.
Of course.
To release for the competition, okay? So same will be sent to the seat of government. Now, when that document gets to the seat of government, if government is convinced that this is money that is going to be well spent, government will approve that budget. If government has concerns, government will bring in the sports minister and the chief director, go through some of the figures, and finally agree on a figure that the government will be ready to release.
Yeah.
Now, when the office of the president approve the said amount, the finance ministry will now have to take steps to release same into the coffers of the sports ministry. That is the procedure. So there's no money sitting anywhere in the sports ministry that is meant for tournaments. They would have to go straight to government for government to release it.
The money, yes.
That has been the procedure. So any line item that you don't capture, if you bring it as an afterthought, they will not mind you.
Yeah.
So if there were bonuses that were supposed to be paid as qualification bonuses, the Queens would have received same if it had been budgeted for. So under the circumstances, the Queens are not due any qualification bonus as far as this particular arrangement is concerned.
Because, as you're saying, it wasn't captured in the budget that the GFA produced.
No. All what they were given was what had been budgeted for, and same was given to them when they took part in the competition. Now let's deal with the final one. Payment of winning bonuses. You remember last year, when the Queens came back from the WAFCON tournament, there was a lot of drama around winning bonuses. Yeah. You remember they were owed some qualification bonus of $4,500, and that was money that was promised by the Honorable Sports Minister. You remember?
Yeah.
And all of that became an issue because the girls were holding out for that money. All of those things happened. You remember? This year, the Black Queens went to the tournament with the same script. When I say the same script, they again went into this tournament winning just one game at the group stage. In the last edition, they won just one game at the group stage. They won one group game, and I am sure in the minds of the Queens, they were expecting a repeat of what happened last year. So last year, they were due only winning bonus for one game
in the group stage.
In the group stage, because that was the only game they won, and that was the $1,500. Minister of Sports and Recreation was very excited that the Queens had progressed and promised to pay them the full qualification bonus for all the 3 games they played. So that brought it to $4,500.
On the assumption that they had won all 3.
Very good.
Okay.
Because he wanted to motivate them.
Okay, yes.
Now these Queens, this time round, went and repeated the same script. And in their minds, in camp, they are expecting another $4,000, $4,500 for the performance they put up. Nathan, if you were sitting on all of Ghana's money, will you reward these girls qualification bonus of $4,500 for the kind of performances you saw? So, the ministry decided to stick to the script. We pay you winning bonus per the number of games you win. How many games did they win at the tournament?
1.
So they are due $1,500. But this is it. That $1,500 is taxable. That $1,500 would also see some deductions from the Ghana Sports Fund. Those processes are different. This is not tabletop. As for per diem, they take it tabletop. This is not tabletop matter. So the girls will have to come to Ghana for all those deductions to be done, for same to be transferred into their bank accounts. They have one more game to play against Cote d'Ivoire today. If they win that game today, there's a possibility that the winning bonus of this game could even be added to the previous one. So all of those payments will be done when they come back home. And they know this. This has been the arrangement. So why the hue and cry? Why this dishonest letter demanding entitlements when they know the procedures? Why this dishonest statement? You see, this statement is full of factual and intellectual dishonesty. This statement on the part of the Queens. You see, if they have concerns about welfare, if they have concerns that they have mental health issues, and there's no psychologist in camp. Nathan, who should be answering the question of whether there was a psychologist in camp or not? Who should be answering that question?
So that's the management committee.
Very good. Yes. Did they put these concerns before the management committee? Did they table these concerns before the management committee? Should the sports ministry be employing a physiotherapist? Sorry, a psychologist? Or should the state be employing a psychologist for the national teams? No, is that the work of the state? Is that the work of the sports ministry?
Nah.
Shouldn't the FA be providing them same?
Yeah.
So if you don't have these services, who do you go to?
You have to go to the management committee, by extension, the FA.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, this document, as you see, as released by the Queens, if it was from them, is called an incontompo document.
Oh, wow.
This document is full of rodoradasem. This document is full of mischief. This document is full of a team that is courting public sympathy after their symbolic performance at a tournament. They are looking for a place to hide. The girls are looking for a hiding place. And so, conveniently, let us go after the ministry. Conveniently, let us go after government. Let us make government look unpopular in the eyes of the good people of Ghana. Almost to say they don't support the Queens. Nkontompo, alakpa. Yeah, in our way, say alakpa. This thing, it's an alakpa document. Amale document. These claims are full of lies. As the honorable minister will say, barefaced lies. Nathan, you see, and the Queens should not put themselves in this position, especially after the good people of Ghana spend time and effort to watch them play. They shouldn't come up with antics like this. You see, these antics, you come up with these antics when you are winning. But you don't try these antics when you are losing or when you are not doing well. Okay? Mm-hmm. So if it is the Queens who uttered this document, it's a shameful document. And all of them should bow their heads down in shame.
That is
if the Queens uttered this document, they should bow their heads down in shame for telling lies. Intro, Nkontompo. Nathan, we cannot continue like this. We cannot continue like this. Continue to come into the public, to throw things in, to throw people under the bus. And this is a national team. Nathan, for the first time in my life, I have seen a national team go to a tournament and release a statement on welfare and entitlement. Mm-hmm. I've not seen it before. Maybe if somebody has seen it before, maybe let me ask Fifi Bansi. Maybe Fifi has seen it before. Me, I've not seen it before. This is my first time. Maybe it happened in the past and we've not seen. You see, Nathan, these are serious matters. And the Queens should know that we'll come after them. Today, they better win against Cote d'Ivoire. Because there will be no hiding place if they don't beat Cote d'Ivoire. There will be no hiding place for them. It is football we say they should go and play. Money has been given to them. In fact, even the Pedian, they've received it in advance. We are waiting for them to deliver tonight. But the good people of Ghana should treat this press statement with the contempt it deserves. It has no place in the sport. It has no place in the game. But I'm waiting for the Ghana Football Association. Rein your girls in. Rein your girls in if they are going on this rampage. This media razzmatazz, if they are the people embarking on this journey, this thing, if they are doing it, rein your people in. I rest my case. Comment before we disappear from the problem scene.
Oh no, I think you've laid it out clearly. I don't have anything to add. We'll all have to wait and see, right? We'll have to wait and see if really, let's see if we'll get a counter response. We'll get a new response from the Black Queens concerning this. As I said earlier, the ministry, to support its argument, has brought out what it believes is its side of the story. A statement backed by receipts, signed papers, all of that. So we'll have to wait and see if the Queens will give us a response. What I will say, and I agree with you on the final bit about timing and all of that. Ray, when you look at just reactions on social, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reactions are very interesting. A lot of the reactions that I've seen say that, but why are the Queens doing this, right? Why are they doing this? Where is the statement coming from? And some people are saying that, dear Queens, we need you to win games. These statements, they don't help. So you can tell that, even the public is not too certain, of this statement and where it is coming from, what the intentions are. People just want to see the girls win. People just want to see them win. So I think that winning is what they should focus on. As I said at the very start, in conclusion, if there are challenges, there's a certain reporting hierarchy that has been laid down.
Absolutely.
Respect the process.
Yeah.
Talk to your management committee members, and there are 2 of them there. If there are challenges, deal with them. Those management committee members were put there by the FA. So meaning that if you speak to the management committee, those concerns can get to the FA, and we can, find a way around it. I'm just not. Again, just the look of the statement just makes everything look really off. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
The look of the statement, the feel of it, there's no name, nobody wants to own up.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it look really strange.
Yeah.
If you have concerns, tell the management committee, be bold and tell them. But doing this, an unsigned statement, nobody knows, players are sharing it on their WhatsApp, and then the ministry has had to respond, and nobody has said anything since 10
ministry
p.m.
has had to do what they don't normally do.
Yeah, ministry
add
would
evidence.
Add evidence. You took this amount. It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
But it has happened. So let's see what happens.
You see,
the focus is today. The Queens have to win. There are 2 sides to this. There's a footballing mandate they have to fulfill, which is win games on the pitch. They should do that. All other issues will still be handled at the same time. But I think it didn't have to come to this, really, where we are releasing signed sheets and you signed for this.
You see, Nathan, the girls saw a lot of money during the last campaign. So from that $4,500 for almost no work done, instead of receiving $1,500, they received $4,500. When they progressed from the quarterfinals, winning bonus was increased from $1,500 to $2,000. You see? And they were assured of $3,000 for their 3rd place finish. So they saw a lot of money. This time round, they're almost coming home with only per diem and possibly $1,200 thereabouts if the deductions are done. You get it?
Yep.
So they're worried. They're looking for more cash. But this is not the way to look for more cash. You look for more cash in performance. When they performed, they were giving money. If you don't perform, don't expect money. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Did they perform?
No.
To accumulate the money they would have accumulated?
If you win your games, you win. You get your bonus.
I mean, it's simple. That will continue. Michael Asaribodu is on the line. Let me bring in Michael Asaribodu. Michael, good morning to you and welcome to Sporty Breakfast. I think Michael is muted, so Michael will join us in a bit. But you see, when they came back to Ghana from winning bronze, did you see how the presidency welcomed them?
Yeah, look, if you do well, we'll always celebrate you. As you said, look, they won 1 game in the group stage.
They were rewarded handsomely.
And 1 game in the quarters. They lost the semis and beat South Africa.
Yeah.
But despite winning 1 game in the group stage, they were still giving the full amount. Why? Because, look, they've done well. Yeah. We hadn't been to the AFCON in how many years? 7 years.
Yeah.
You go there, you do your very best. You qualify to a semi. You win a bronze medal. Look, despite everything, they were giving their due. They were celebrated, and it was wonderful. I just don't quite understand where this is coming from. Again, listeners, this is not to say that the Queens are not facing challenges. They are facing challenges, and they go through a whole lot. And they go through, look, Ray, and you and I will agree, if there's one national team that has had massive issues, it's the Black Queens, because they are constantly, we are always on this cycle. Remember when they had to protest? You remember?
Yes, way back.
Way back. So the Queens, you can tell that.
No, but a lot has changed in recent times.
That's what I'm saying. That I'm just building a point.
Yeah.
in their evolution as a national team, they've been through a lot.
Yeah.
Things have gotten better.
Okay.
Are things perfect? No. But I always say that when you have an argument or when you want to make an argument, how you make the argument equally counts.
Yeah. And the timing. Putting it again, for me, it's just the whole look and feel of the statement where there are no names, nobody wants to say anything, and the statements are going around. And till now, no player has come to say anything. Oh, Nathan, they will not own up.
No player has said anything.
Will own up.
So we'll go. So imagine if people started fighting. Then the Queens are, and then the ministry released the statement. Now here we are, eggs on our face. Oh, the Queens have been. Meanwhile, when I always, somebody cracks this. A colleague journalist always says this funny thing that when people come to you and say that they have not been paid, you can decide to champion their cause. It's good, but always remember that when they get paid, they will never tell you.
No.
So you are there fighting. Then somebody will come. But we've paid them. And then you go and check it's true. Right. Nobody minded you.
Nathan, Senna is on the line. She'll be going to Casablanca in a bit. So let's let's introduce Senna to the conversation. Abigail, good morning to you and welcome to Sporty Breakfast.
Good morning.
Abigail, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Great. I'm sure you've been following the discussions in the media space concerning the purported statement from the Queens. You are currently in camp with the Queens. What have you picked up with regards to the statement and every other thing that has come up?
Well, like you're saying, I also saw it out there in the media, and match day -1. After today match day, unfortunately, I've not spoken to any of them, so I can't speak to it.
Right. Let's talk about match day -1. Yesterday, the Queens were in training ahead of their big game against Cote d'Ivoire. What have you picked up from what they've done in training so far?
For them, like Josephine mentioned, at the presser yesterday before they went into their training in the evening, they know that at least this is the last chance they have. As human as they are, they were broken about it. They thought they would have gotten that easy slot or that way into the 2027 World Cup, but unfortunately, they will have to take the longest route at this point in time. And so it's another chance, though difficult, but as Ghanaians, as footballers, as professionals that they are, they will just try to pick themselves back up and play. They have played with Ivory Coast about 3 times in the last year and a half that Kim has been around. And so these are not people or a side that they do not know, and they are hoping that they'll be able to do the needful and get the goals against them. So they are going into this game with another positive mind, though it will come at a very busy time for them later when they get to know the opponents in the playoffs and all of that, having to also concentrate for early 2028 qualifiers and all of that. They will also be busy around that time, but it is for the nation, and it is what they have gotten themselves into at this point in time. So they are prepped for it if they happen to be one of the 2 that will head into the intercontinental playoffs for Africa. So it's a very narrow opportunity they do not want to let go, and they are ready to play their heart out one of those games, and then they'll see how it will go. It is going to be played at a rather familiar venue as well, where they played all their group matches, and so it should work in their favor, and they'll give it a last hard try when they take on Ivory Coast later today.
Right. Nathan has a question for you.
Hi, Abigail. How are you?
Nathan, I'm good. Yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. I just want to find out, when you speak with the players unofficially or Kim Lass, and do you get the sense they've managed to put a finger on what may have gone wrong, especially against Malawi, but just across the entire span of the competition? They haven't played, at least in my estimation, they haven't played as well as I thought they could have played. Do you get the sense that they've been able to pin down the problem, and today against Cote d'Ivoire, they are ready to right all the wrongs?
One thing Kim himself has never hidden is the fact that his side are able to create a lot of chances, but unable to convert them. And that has always been his problem. And when you speak to him, he's always so frank about it, and clearly it looks like it does worry him as well. And Josephine also pointed it out at the presser that against Ivory Coast, all they need to do is to get goals. So clearly, they do accept the fact that goal scoring is really what is missing in their game, because they can be proud of the fact that they have one of the experienced defense build up when it comes to the women's game. They built up a very solid defense over time. In that middle, when the days are good, you have one of the best midfielders, but they do accept that up front they are unable to get the goals or do what is really needed for them to be able to advance, and they accept that they would have to do better when they play against that, because remember, it's always be either a narrow 1-0 win over them whenever they take on Ivory Coast. And so they would want to be very aware of themselves and try to score as early as they can. So if there's one thing they all are worried about and are ready to work at, it would definitely be at goal scoring.
Well, Abigail, based on what you've seen at the tournament so far, looking at the strength of the Ivorians, do the Queens have it in them to do a job over the Ivorians? Looking at how unimpressive they've been in their last 4 games.
I don't know where you stand about that, but I've always maintained that if it comes to a tournament, I prefer you get results for me than play fine football. That is clearly what has really played out for the most of the, let me say, the 2 that are in the final. I watched Cameroon take on Morocco yesterday. It was really about good football. That was just ahead of Cameroon, but I think when they were needed most, they were able to hold their own. And against the Ivory Coast, they also came through and have played their part and have done so well. I will not still take anything away from how the Queens have played. This is a tournament, and going in there and getting results is the most important thing, and they know that they have to work at getting results. How it will come, I think that they will have to figure that out themselves. To say they have been unimpressive, I would not really go with that, because we wouldn't sit in the same stead and say that, okay, the defending champions also did not do well. If you're talking about fine football, Nigeria did play some of the finest football, but unfortunately, the same Cameroon just had to work their way out and then kick them out. So sometimes it just doesn't really matter the best of games you would have to play, but if the day does go your way, then you take it. And I feel that, like I mentioned earlier, this is not a side they do not know. Luckily, they've played them over time in the last 1.5 years. And so they should be able to have a way around Ivory Coast. Yes, they also have that level of physicality, individual players that are good. And maybe one thing that could work for us is one of that instrumental players for them is also red carded, Safi. And so they might not have her service. That should also play to our advantage. You have enough experienced players to be able to revisit those games they played with Ivory Coast and get the best of it. It's not going to be easy. They would also want to advance, and so I might even go with people who say that the playoffs might even look nicer or interesting than the last 4 that we have. I mean, the last 4 were in the semis, because that's where the big guns unfortunately have gone to. So it wouldn't boil down to unimpressive performance. It would come down to whoever wants it the most among the 2 sets of players that we'll have to watch today.
Right. Abigail, we wish the team the best of luck, and we hope that by close of day, the Queens would at least put themselves on the path to that intercontinental playoff. We wish you well, and have a very safe journey wherever you are going this morning.
Sure.
Great. And that was Abigail Senat Sosu joining us all the way from Morocco. She's with the team, and she is traveling with them she's traveling to Casablanca to go and watch the game between the Black Queens and Côte d'Ivoire. Yeah. Well, let me quickly get back onto the lines. Michael Asaribudu is here with us this morning. Michael, if you can hear me, good morning to you. Okay, so I'm sure Michael will join us in a bit. Okay, yeah, Michael, can you hear me? Michael. Okay, I think Michael has unmuted, but I can't seem to hear him. Michael Asaribudu will be joining us from 91.3 in Kumasi, Sporty FM 91.3 in Kumasi. Once we establish connection with Michael, he would share his thoughts with us on what we are discussing this morning. But Nathan, let's quickly go through the routes the Black Queens would have to go through if they are to get qualification to next year's World Cup.
Okay, so the first thing they must do is beat Cote d'Ivoire today.
Okay.
Now, what it will mean is that if they beat Cote d'Ivoire, they become one of Africa's 2 reps into the preliminary phase of the Interconfederation playoff. Now, the other 2 teams, Nigeria and South Africa.
They will be playing the other game.
Yes. So the 2 teams who qualify from this will join 2 teams from Asia, 1 from Oceania, and the lower ranked team from CONMEBOL, according to the FIFA Women's World Rankings. And they will all gather at a centralized venue in November and December this year.
Okay.
Right? Now, the teams will be drawn into...
Nathan, hold on. So that will be another mini tournament.
Yes, another mini tournament.
Which would mean that the state would have to look for money for the Queens to go and play again.
Yeah.
Okay, you continue.
So that's the thing. Almost like the one I covered last year.
The World Cup.
The World Cup playoffs for Africa. Very good. Now, the teams drawn into this, the teams here will be drawn into 3 tiers to play a set of predetermined matches with teams from the same confederation barred from facing each other. So, for example, if Ghana qualifies, there's no way they can play either Nigeria or South Africa.
Very well.
You get what I mean? Very good. Now, the top 2 teams from this competition will now move to the final phase of qualifying. What will happen in that final phase? There will be 6 teams.
Okay.
2 teams advancing from the preliminary phase, right, which is the November-December competition, and 4 teams who received a bye. So 4 teams will show up in the final round who will not play in the middle round.
Okay.
There are 2 teams from CONCACAF, which is North and Central America and Caribbean, 1 from UEFA, and a higher ranked team from CONMEBOL. CONMEBOL is the South American Federation.
Right.
And they will compete in single knockout matches to determine the 3 final qualifiers for the Women's World Cup in Brazil. Meaning that the 6 teams will now get into 3 different matches. 2 teams in 1 match, 2 teams in a second match, 2 teams in a third match. And the winners of these 3 matches will ultimately go to Brazil.
So 3 spots up for grabs.
So 3 spots ultimately at the end.
So how could Ghana have avoided this?
Ghana should have just beaten Malawi. Even if it was 0.5 to 0.
So the Queens have to write off deck at the expense of the taxpayer. No.
Why are you like this?
But it's not off deck. It's not off deck. That is if they win today. Ivory Coast should beat us.
Oh, how?
Nathan. The state has already spent so much on this AFCON. What was the aim? Qualify automatically to the World Cup.
The most important thing for all
we needed to do was to just make it to the semi-finals. 2 of us.
Yes.
We couldn't make it.
From that point, we wouldn't have cared.
We couldn't make it. Yes. So now, the FA will write a letter to the sports ministry demanding money to go and play in intercontinental playoffs. That is if they beat Cote d'Ivoire today. That is a lot of money. Then when they finish, after writing the off deck, if they do well, they will now go and play February. Hey, Nathan. That will be what some of us will call waste of money.
How so?
Nathan, see.
How so? Don't you want to go to Brazil?
Nathan, stop it. Nathan, let's stop this thing. Look, you see, the way we want to use the public purse prudently, this thing will not help us.
How so?
Another tournament.
Okay, let me
another per diem. Another winning bonus because the girls will be looking for motivation.
If the Black Stars were in this same situation,
Nathan,
would we not have spent money?
No, see, Nathan, you are delving into hypothetical realms. The Black Stars are not here. The Black Stars played 10 matches to go to the World Cup. 10 matches. They didn't require playoffs. They did the business. Simple.
Yes.
The Queens had the best opportunity. They even took the lead against Malawi. 2 of us.
Yeah, they did.
Before Chawinga sparked the engine. 2 of us.
That is true.
So the Queens came that close to replicating a semi-final berth like they did in the last edition. They missed it. So the state should look for new money. Why? See, if the FA want to play at that World Cup, Honorable Kofi Adams, I beg you. Let the FA look for money and go and play this tournament. Go and play the intercontinental playoffs. If they qualify to the World Cup, and FIFA give them money, they can take out whatever they spent on the team. But for the taxpayer to go into the consolidated, for Mr. Atu Forcing to go into the consolidated fund to look for money for these queens, to go and do remedials.
He's doctor.
Oh, doctor, sorry. To go and do remedials.
We'll find it.
Okay, the FA should find it. Michael Asaibo is on the line. Michael, if you can hear me, good morning to you and welcome. Hey, today, Michael has disappeared though. Michael doesn't agree with. Kokwana doesn't agree with the proposal. But Kevin, before Michael joins us, look, let's be serious. Let's be serious. The reason why we went to the AFCON as a nation, we all know, was to at least get into the semi-finals and go to Brazil.
Yes, that's the first thing.
That is why the state invested so much in getting the girls there. Why do we think that it is okay for the queens to go and perform abysmally and hope that a plan B, a pathway B, which will cost us so much money again, should be what the state should be investing in before they get to the World Cup? Kevin, for them to be releasing press statements that they are going to play intercontinental playoffs and they've not received money. I mean, Charlie, that's what I'm saying. That me, nobody should tell me I'm not patriotic. Côte d'Ivoire must beat us today. Beat us good. Kevin, have your say.
Well, I think yes, the Queens have been disappointing. Raymond, I expected something better from them, and nobody should come and give the excuse that there is Nigeria, there is what. We are going to have first-time winners. Is it that every time the Queens are going to be perennial underachievers? They should get to know that even Equatorial Guinea are now a top side in Africa more than them because they've won the AFCON.
Yeah. Equatorial won.
Yes, they've won.
South Africa have won.
South Africa, Nigeria many times.
Now Cameroon and Malawi could win before us.
One of them, yes. One of them would win before us, which means that you have 4 nations who have won and Ghana is still languishing at the base, and they still think that we are powerhouses in Africa football.
We are Ghana.
But it doesn't change the fact that Raymond, in as much as we might have failed in qualifying for the automatic sport, once there is an avenue for us to get to qualify through the intercontinental playoffs, we must do it. But we must be gracious in defeat. The queens, the ladies must be gracious, and they must be gracious that they had a quest to fulfill and dignify the support the entire nation has had for them in the last couple of years. If you are talking about support for the queens, we have supported them.
That's true.
To the highest level, to the point that we nearly broke barriers of interpersonal relationships.
That's true.
And if they have gone to fail, they should be modest. They should be clear in their minds and be clear to Ghanaians. The first thing they should have even sent together as players instead of this useless write-up was an apology.
Yeah, that is true.
Apologize for failing to get to the semi-finals, to qualify for the World Cup. Automatically, where we haven't gotten to for 20 years. This was a glorious opportunity. You fail, you go to a tournament, you play 4 matches, you lose how many? 2. You win 1 and then you draw 1. And you think that you are all of a sudden superheroes. No, we don't do that.
No.
We don't do that. Nothing like that happens. And these are ladies that we have preached that, yes, they should be treated fairly, they should be treated well. When was the last time you saw a Black Queens team being given extra hands ahead of a major tournament?
It's never happened.
Remember what complaints didn't they make at the Accra Sports Stadium? The pitch was bad.
Yeah.
This is not to dignify anything, but the pitch was bad. They were moved to a different facility to go and train.
Yeah.
They've been given some of the best accommodations times ago.
They would have been a pram.
Exactly.
Mosquitoes would be chewing them.
But they should understand that there is that progression. When you go to all other countries, the kind of care, courtesy, attention that is given to the male national teams, it's not the same thing that is given to the female national team. So they should get to that it is equity and not equality. When it comes to football, what you bring
is what you are served with.
Thank you.
Now with this, it is failure. I'm not even sure if the PFAG even know about the release. I am not even sure. The last time it happened, the PFAG took it upon themselves to help get the monies for the ladies.
Yeah.
We're all here. Remember, we came up with a top story.
I mean, you know.
So they should just understand they are failures and with what they are doing. But I just think that what they should be doing now is focus on this. This is the time that you need some sort of, clemency and grace from Ghanaians. But right now, they are now stoking the fire. And for me, someone like me, I'll be very happy if you qualify for the World Cup. But if you don't qualify, I'll be indifferent.
Right. Let me introduce Michael. Michael, I hope this time around you can hear me. Michael, good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning. Can you also hear?
Yes. Michael is back. You see, I don't know if the Queens had tapped your lines. I don't know if the Queens had intercepted your lines. But Michael, what do you make of everything that's happened over the last in the last 12 to 18 hours?
Shocking, unfortunate, and I don't think it should have happened in the first place. And everything points towards a certain managerial failure or a certain management failure. Because if situations had been managed properly, then people will not have to nicodemously put out a statement without signatures and then run away from it when the whole thing catches fire, if I'm allowed to use such a phrase. So I think it's unfortunate that we are witnessing this. It is shocking that right before a crucial game to determine your fate as to whether you make your first World Cup in over a decade, then you would have to be confronted with bonus issues and rows and disputes with the higher-ups. I don't think it is something that we should have been having by now. What we should have been discussing should be how we will beat Ivory Coast, how we map a path towards the World Cup qualification playoff and the chances of us qualifying. But we have to just mix everything together, and we are embroiled in a very unnecessary situation. I think management should have found a way to deal with this situation in a more appropriate manner, and we wouldn't have been here if that had happened.
Yeah, Michael, based on what happened yesterday, the ministry had to go ahead to issue a statement debunking some of the claims in the earlier statement. Going into a major game like this, I'm sure the Queens have seen all of the things that have happened. Going into a game against Cote d'Ivoire, would all of these things be playing on their minds? How focused would they be? I mean, would they affect their psyche going into a game like this?
I think they have their work cut out for them. They had the easier option, which was getting the result against Malawi and qualifying. We've seen how Cameroon have made it all the way to the final in this competition. It's not because they've been beating every opponent. It's because they've been having a better strategy. They've been finding a way to go past opponents. And it is kind of similar to how the Black Queens played the last WAFCON before this one. They were not beating every opponent. They were getting the results that was necessary because they had an effective strategy. And I think that is something that we failed to do. I don't think our preparations and everything was something that had flaws. I think the issue has to do with the application. It looks like the Queens don't play like they want to be there. They don't give their all. And maybe hints are in the statement that came out, which allegedly points towards them. I think they are still confronted with a couple of issues which they feel are not right. And it's always about that unnecessary comparison with the Black Stars. This is something that happened with the athletics team. They qualified for the World Championships relay. Then it became an issue. They started drawing comparisons with the Black Stars. Whenever issues like this happen, it kind of take you off the main goal, the real focus. You are not there to rub shoulders with the Black Stars or prove anything. If there is anything to even prove, it is about how good you are when you are measured against a standard in your discipline or in your industry. And I think that is what people have failed to do. We cannot preach equality when it is that what you bring to the table, what you contribute, does not measure up or is not the same. What the Black Stars bring to the table and everything, it is vastly different from what the Black Queens also deliver. So if you are preaching for equal treatment and everything, then you are trying to somehow, one way or the other, use the little success that come towards your end to antagonize the other group. And I think it is very unfortunate. And these are conversations that must be held or had in moderation. We must know what we want. If the Black Queens are preaching for equity, I don't think there's a problem. But if they are preaching for the same treatment, equal treatment, and try to make it look like some are being treated better than the others, which might be a reality, we also need to understand situations from a proper context. Why are these people treated in this manner? Then we'll have to look at the global perspective. How is women's football seen as compared to men's football? Which one is lucrative and which one enjoys much investment in terms of the financial support and anything that goes with it? So I think that is where the issue is. But again, it all boils down to management of the situation, like I said earlier. I'll come back to the Black Queens versus Ivory Coast game. But the point is that, Raymond, federations and associations have been able to team up with their government and then draft working contracts with national team players. Gone are the days where we just label showing up to play for your national team as a show of patriotism and then a commitment towards the national cause. Now it has become evident that there is a certain financial benefit for players who show up to play for their national teams. And like you detailed from the ministry's apparatus, their processes, and then the statement that they released yesterday, every money that is paid the team, bar the per diems, in terms of bonuses, there is a certain tax element that the state takes from it. So it means it is a well-documented thing. Why don't we just draw up contracts? So for instance, if there is a certain government that comes to power, they have a 4-year mandate. We can draft contracts for national team players, coaches, and other people who work within such a structure. So for an odd year, let's say 3 years, 5 years. So we sign a 5-year contract. Every player would have to be represented by their captain. There would have to be the management committee lead. The FA will have to elect someone to represent their interest. The ministry does the same thing. They sign this contract, and the contract will detail everything in terms of rewards, in terms of treatment, in terms of compensation, everything that has to do with it. So that when it gets to the point where one party is making allegations, we can just refer to the contract and state what is in there. Because when you do this, you are ensuring equitable pay and pooling. So there are guarantees that would put towards, okay, which compensation package can be equal in terms of opportunities. So if it is about the World Cup, and let's say we are given 10% of the World Cup prize money to Black Stars players, the equal treatment and opportunity will be that we are given 10% of the World Cup prize money in the Women's World Cup to the Black Queens players. So we understand that there is a certain formula for disbursing some of these fees and then bonuses. Again, revenue sharing. Are we going to split revenues generated according to a certain percentage? Then it's the same for the men and the women. So it will not just be about the same amount, but it's the same quota or the same percentage. Then you introduce these things into the contract. Again, if it is about winning bonuses or qualification bonuses, it is well detailed. So a minister does not feel excited enough and effusively, he promises a certain bonus structure that cannot be sustained. And then the expectation from the team is that, oh, since we qualified from the group the last time, we had our bonuses being tripled. So the expectation is that if we qualify from our group this time around, we expect the same treatment. But there's nothing on paper. So I think we need to go beyond word of mouth. We need to go beyond trusting the status quo to deliver. And then we need to start looking at a more professional way of looking at things. So let's draft contracts. It details everything for men's football. So the senior national football team, the Black Meteors, we no longer have the Black Galaxies because effectively the CHAN has been scrapped. So we look at the other U20, U17. What is the bonus structure? What is the equitable pay and pooling guarantees that we can set up for them in terms of opportunities? What are we looking at? So we draft it. It is well documented. It is signed for a certain period. And after that period, we will have to review it and look at certain adjustments or modifications to the document. And then we do same for women's football. black queens, black princesses, black maidens. We need to move towards that era so that it doesn't become a perennial thing that anytime women's national football teams are engaged in any sort of national assignment, we expect something like this to crop up. If it's black princesses, black maidens, we always get hints of some of these disgruntlements, and we need to go beyond that. So let's look at the way forward. I think the best way forward is in drafting collective bargaining agreements or contracts. It will be signed by the FA, representatives of both the men's and the women's senior teams, who are, in this case, the captains would have to act in that manner. A representative from the Ministry of Sport, if need be, a rep from the Ministry of Finance, and then the GFA also provides a rep. Then they have to think through, draft the document, sign it, and we move with it. Let's go beyond some of these things. It is not necessary for the ministry to release a statement and then want to clarify issues if the right things had been done. It is also not necessary for players to leak a certain document and allegedly run away from it if management had acted in a manner that they are supposed to. The other side of the conversation is management committee. So what exactly are they managing? That is a question we leave for another day.
Well, Michael, hold your thought for me. Emmanuel Ayamga is here with me in studio, and Ayamga has been following the development since yesterday. I think he was the first to draw my attention to the statement. He saw it first, and we had to have our own tete-a-tete before deciding on who direction to go. You have been with you followed the Black Queens and what they've done in the past. What do you make of all of these developments over the last few hours?
I think it's quite disappointing, because just like Kevin said before he left, the national teams that we have currently, if you look at the team that has had the most support, I think it's the Black Queens, in terms of the nation following them. When Nora came and Nora rallied the whole country around them, everybody was support. People were going to stadiums because the Black Queens were performing. And it happened at the time when the Black Stars had dropped. So it was natural that when people wanted to support a national team and the Black Stars were not performing, they would shift that support to the Black Queens. And I think they justified that when they went to the last AFCON, irrespective of the fact that they won just one game in that WAFCON. But they went to the semi-finals, they finished third, and that was the first time we had finished on the podium since 2016. So it was a good thing. So for a Ghanaian like me, and for everybody out there, we expected that when they come to this tournament, they would improve on what they did last year. They couldn't do it. But also, just like Kelvin said, when you go to a tournament and you don't do well, sometimes you have to just own up that, Charlie. Raise my hand and say, I didn't do well. And I don't think the players can hit their chest and say that they went to this tournament and give their best and played flawlessly and people are still criticizing them. No, it didn't happen. The first game against Cape Verde, they won 2-0, but it was a wobbly performance. Just because they were better than the opponent doesn't mean that they played so well. And the coach admitted that even before the second game, when they went to Cameroon and drew that game as well. So I think it's disappointing because you look at the Black Queens and the goodwill that they've gathered, and I look at the statement. I mean, we are media men. We know what has happened in the past.
Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
That sometimes they say things to the media in private, and then when the push comes to shove, they run away from it, just as Abuedu said.
Yeah.
And I don't like that kind of attitude because it is your money. If you feel justified that you are owed some money and you come out boldly to write a statement, I expected that, they will own up. So the first thing I wanted to see on the statement was signatures. So I want to see the signature of the captain, of the deputy captain, and all the players to show that it's truly a joint statement. Okay, you didn't do that.
Even two of them could have signed for them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The captain and the deputy captain.
Yes, we are representing them.
So let's assume you didn't do that. That was not even okay. You didn't do that. That's fine. The other thing they should have done if you didn't sign was to communicate the statement through an official channel.
Yes.
Because we work with official sources, and again based on history of this same team, knowing that sometimes they say things in private, when push comes to shove, they hide, and then the journalists that broke the story are seen as liars.
Yeah.
Based on history again.
Yes, that is true.
So when that happened yesterday, when the story was going on, people were saying, is it from the Black Queens? I expected I would see it from the page of the captain or the deputy captain. I went on their page on X, I didn't see it.
Or even the Black Queens social media handle.
It wasn't there. But allegedly, it was flying on WhatsApp statuses and things, which are not official channels.
Yeah.
You don't expect journalists to pick statements like this from your WhatsApp, status and then post as a source.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
So that was why when everything was happening, I was just saying, Charlie, this thing, I didn't like the way it was going. If it is your money and you want to fight for it, Charlie, come forward and fight. And Ghanaians will support you if genuinely you have a case. They've done it in the past. This won't be the first time. Before the Olympic qualifier 2 years ago against Zambia, when we lost in Accra and went to draw in Zambia, they said the same thing on the eve of that game. What happened? Ghanaians supported them. They were paid every penny before they went to play that game. It didn't go well, but we still didn't hold it against them because at that point they were owed that money,
and we felt that
they deserved to be paid because they were doing well. They had won like 10 games in a row even before that game. So I think Ghanaians, let me say, Ghanaians can read between the lines. Ghanaians know when you are in the right and when you are not in the right. On this tangent that the Black Queens have gone, I just feel like they could have handled it better because it all feels like they are hiding from the performance they gave off in this tournament, where you've gone to a tournament, you couldn't perform up to expectations, and now you look around, you look left, you look right, you're like, actually, where can I hide? And you go to that direction where you are going to, because they need to take responsibility for what they did on the pitch, on the eve of a game like between me and you. If it was the Black Stars on the eve of a qualifier like this, and they did this thing, what would be the reaction? They'll be calling them mercenaries. They'll say, "Oh, Charlie, Black Stars, yes, it be money matter and then they think about it and things, So I think if they reflect, they will know that they didn't do well with what they have done.
That is if especially they are the originators of this document.
That is if. But again, like I'm saying, allegedly, some of them were posting it on their WhatsApp statuses.
Meaning they endorsed it.
But they couldn't come forward and post it officially on their official channels to say that okay, this is the source of the statement, which I didn't like I've said. So I think upon reflection, they will know that they didn't do well, but they have a second chance.
So where does this leave us? Crucial game against Cote d'Ivoire, all of these things happening. Do they have an excuse? Should results go bad against Cote d'Ivoire?
They don't have an excuse. I think it would do them good to win the game and then get all of Ghanaians back, because now Ghanaians are divided. I mean, after the statement yesterday, when people saw it, people were bashing the ministry and all that. Now ministry has responded and they've shown evidence.
Yeah, they've given evidence
of your signatures, which you didn't put on your statement, but it found its way onto the sheet.
Yes.
So people are now in two minds. Charlie, so you were paid and you said you weren't paid your per diems. There's this conflict over there. But the only way to win over your fans is to do what?
To win games.
Win games.
Yeah.
And Ghanaians want to see the Black Queens at the World Cup.
That's true.
Luckily for them, they have a second chance. The most clear example is Cameroon. They didn't qualify for the WAFCON.
Yeah,
they didn't even qualify. The only reason why they are there is because they expanded it from 12 to 16. And what have they done? They grabbed that second chance with all their two hands
and went straight to the World Cup.
Straight to the World Cup, and they are now in the final. They could win their first WAFCON title. So Charlie, sometimes when you are given a second chance, just grab it. And they have that second chance today against Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast are not the best team on the continent. Let's be honest. Of course, the Black Queens are not at their best, but against Ivory Coast, I don't want to say they've beaten them in friendlies because they beat Malawi in friendlies, and then when it came to tournament football, they went and then they couldn't step up.
Yeah.
So I want to see them step up against Ivory Coast. It's a second chance. For everything that they've done, people will forget about it if they win this game.
Right.
So they have to go there and win. But there's no excuse. You can't hide behind lack of payment and per diem. Charlie, those things here. The Black Stars couldn't hide behind them. You too, you can't hide behind them. Go and perform.
Let me go around the table. Before I get to Michael, Kelvin. The Queens faced Cote d'Ivoire today in a very tough game. A game that many expect them to win to guarantee or put them back on the road to qualification to the World Cup. What should we expect from the Queens, and can they do the job over?
Remember, they have no other option. I am tempted not to be too confident. Not even too confident. Not even confident in the team, judging from what I have seen from them. They look like a team. Yes, defensively, you see the quality in Portia, Suzanne, and even with Suzanne, this tournament, she's been a bit jittery, making a number of, defensive errors. Conlan, Philip, Cynthia, we know, yes, height, she's been the regular number one, but when defenses are breached, it becomes difficult for her to also, stop some of the balls that come her way. In that midfield, we haven't really seen the best from Jennifer Kojo. I think that the coach should have seen this right from the start, from the first game. There are times you need to alter your team. You need to, give your team lots of questions for the players to answer themselves. I may not like the Nigerian team this campaign, but the coach doesn't care about who you are, whether it's Asisat, whether it's whoever who's going to play. You either sit on the bench or you may not play at all. And I think that those are the variations that we need. In this particular game, strength obviously hasn't been our biggest pain. We were known to, have quality play from defense, our build-up, the chemistry that we had in the midfield and attack. But it looks to have dwindled, and then we are now looking for those long balls and deliveries. But you ask yourself, how many players from the Black Queens can actually challenge for aerial duels. Even Bodua, who's your lead markswoman with a height, is not able to really, be very commanding when it comes to aerial duels. Chantal Boylocker hasn't really been the best at this tournament. Meanwhile, there are options on the bench that the coach has failed to explore. If they would want to overwrite whatever has gone on in the last couple of weeks and even in the last, couple of hours or the last 24 hours, this is a great opportunity. This is a game that you don't need coaches to play too much for you. Yesterday, we saw how Cameroon overrode what Morocco wanted to do. The players themselves wanted it, and they managed to dispatch Morocco. Ghana, if they want to get to the World Cup, this is the start of it. They cannot disappoint themselves. They owe themselves an apology by qualifying. They owe Ghanaians an apology by qualifying to the next stage of the qualifiers. And they owe every single Ghanaian, and then whatever that they need to do this evening must come to pass. I have seen the Ivorian team, very good team, very solid. I like their attack, but it's just their midfield that doesn't look too solid. But our midfield has also been, up in 6s and 7s. I don't know what the coach is going to do, whether she's going to start some more creative players. Abigail Kim has showed that clearly she understands and stands a better chance of chance creation and scoring goal threat more than what Princella Dubia and then other players would offer. Maybe Evelyn Bedu hasn't really been herself at the very best, but I think that if you give her Abigail Kim, you give her Bodua to play in a 4-3-3 system, you can have some better creativity in there. What is Stella Nyamicha doing on the bench? What has been her problem? What is the issue? Why is she not playing? We've seen Chantal Boylocker just waste minutes in games and not. We understand, yes, she might have proven her quality in the previous tournament, but at this particular tournament, she hasn't really been the best, and I think that it's time to just call it off. Comfort Yeboah may be our biggest outlet from the right-hand side to send in delivery, just like the captain herself, Portia from deeper lines. But there is one thing I see. If you have a very good centre-back and you have Portia in the team, and your midfield is in 6s and 7s, just push Portia into the midfield, bring on a centre-back, and then you can even put Josephine back in that central defense. She's going to do a job for you. So just push Portia into that central midfield to be doing a lot more of, the channel passing, running the ball. There's virtually no one to run through the blocks for us. If you look at the other teams, if you look at the other nations, yesterday the Cameroonian, the lady who had dyed her hair white, the striker, I've forgotten her name. A very excellent player. You could see the Moroccans with Benzina and then Amdoun. They were just, trying to run through the channels, but we haven't seen that from Team Ghana. It's either we play to the flanks and we expect whether it's Alice Kusi, whether it's Chantal Boylocker, whether it's Sharon Simpson or whoever to create some magic from there. So I don't really have the confidence in the team, but I just hope that judging from what has happened, there are times some of these games are not just won by virtue of tactics, by determination and grit that you show to try amend, a situation. And hopefully they will turn up to amend the situation. But on paper, I think Cote d'Ivoire stand a better chance of winning this game than Ghana.
Right. Michael, let me bring you in. And tomorrow, hopefully, I would want us to get into a discussion around Malawi, South Africa, Tanzania, those countries, and how they seem to be, or they seem to have, improved in the women's game over the years. I think South Africa haven't had a good tournament, but they are still one of the teams you talk about. And then we'll introduce a discussion of our home-based stars. Okay. The Black Queens at a point we know had a lot of local players. It's almost looking like this version of the Black Queens we have is the foreign-based version. Kelvin, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Michael, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We have a lot of foreign-based stars in the team.
Yeah, lots of
compared to
the
locals we have here.
The local component.
And we would always make the case that the local talents are not good enough. But for a very long time, they held the Black Queens together. It's a conversation I would want us to revisit tomorrow, hopefully after today's game. But Michael, your final thoughts on today's game and what the Queens need to do if they have to get a good result in this one. And of course, if the Ivorians would ask any questions, if the Ivorians can threaten us in any way, would we be able to, answer any question they throw at us, would we be able to manage them?
I don't think the Black Queens have their head fixated on this game. I think they are worrying mostly also about their finances. It's a reason they brought out that statement. The statement was not just an activity in isolation. It was to several conversations in the background amongst the players, certain conversations they've had throughout this tournament. And maybe it kind of justify the kind of performance we've seen from them. They are not fully focused. And how do they switch from that mentality all of a sudden to focus on the game against Ivory Coast? I think that would be a tough one. Also judging by the backlash they received in the aftermath of the ministry statement and how everything has gone. It hasn't been so smooth for them. On the contrary, the Ivorians have had enough time to prepare, focus, readjust themselves, reassess themselves as well, particularly following that defeat to Algeria in the quarterfinal stage of the WAFCON. I think they would have enough time to recover. And they also know the Black Queens, let's not forget, they played in the pre-tournament friendly before the main tournament started. So they know the team. I think that looking at what has happened within our camp, and you compare it to what is happening in the camp of the Ivorians, I think they are more focused. So from the mental side of things, I think they have that upper hand over us. Then on the field of play, is Kim Last Bjorkegren going to make changes to his selection? It's also been one of the issues that has actually affected us in this competition. We have not played with our best 11 yet. There have been instances where our defense is shaky. We expect changes. The only change we've perhaps seen is the right back in Comfort Yeboah coming in to also get a starting berth. And then in the middle, it has not really clicked between Jennifer Kujo, Grace Asantua. We've not seen how dominant they were and how they were able to control games at the previous WAFCON. We've not seen it much in this competition. Doris Bwedua, like I've said, she can't continue to be our star attacker, and she can't be guaranteed sure starting berth when her performance on the pitch does not tally with the kind of faith we place in her. So if Kim Lars Bjorkegren is going to get the selection correct, it gives us at least a fair chance of fighting. If it is going to be the same old players that is going to trust based on loyalty, blah, 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 then trust me, I don't think we stand a chance against the Ivorians. We might be carried away by the fact that we beat them before the start of the tournament. It's the same story for Malawi. We beat them before the tournament started. But when competitive football kicked into action, they beat us. And then they made it to the next stage, which eventually they've progressed to the final stage of the competition. So I think, yes, we are good, but we need to demonstrate why we are that good and why we need to go beyond that. Because like I have predicted earlier that I don't see much hope in the Black Queens. Even if we beat Ivory Coast, I have huge doubt we'll be able to put ourselves together, correct the mistakes in our team or the anomalies in our team, and then qualify for the World Cup. So I don't think that we'll make it. Even if we beat Ivory Coast, I still remain in my stance firmly that I don't think we'll qualify. But I don't think we'll even beat Ivory Coast because we don't have the best of preparations from the psychological point of view to the technical point of view and maybe motivation. I don't think we stand a chance.
Michael, before you go, this question just came to me, and I'll ask Kelvin the same thing. With all the technical additions that Bjorkegren asked for before the tournament, does it surprise you that we went to a tournament like this without a psychologist for the girls?
The ministry says there are 2 psychologists. I stand to be corrected by the statement they brought.
No, I think it was 2 physiotherapists.
2 physio, right?
Yes, okay. Yes.
No, but again, the management would have to recommend for something like this.
Absolutely.
That's the point. You see, when you are put in charge as the management committee, you are to deliberate on factors that affect the team. The ones that affect them from the internal environment and the ones that affect them from the external environment. You are supposed to study, be proactive, and then likely cite scenarios where it could work for or work against the team. That is what the management is supposed to do, one way or the other, as part of their mandate. So if they go to the tournament and they don't have a psychologist, I don't think there's anybody to look at than the management committee. What were their recommendations? What did they assess? What did they look at? Again, you also gauge the mood of the camp right from the qualification stage and then the pre-camping stage, the camping stage for the tournament, which is the pre-tournament stage. You gauge the mood, you dictate certain things, you pick them up. The psychologists, they will tell you how human behavior manifests in fall. It starts by giving you hints. They will show certain signs. You need to be very attentive. So if you have been put in charge of a team, you are supposed to observe these happenings and then make the necessary recommendations. At the end of the day, if we don't have a psychologist, I think it should be the management committee. And again, need to start drafting KPIs for them. What are the key performance indicators for management committee members? Because it looks like we can go have a bad tournament, we'll return, and business as usual. They will come and regroup and then prepare for the next phase. What are the major assessments indicators that we set for some of these people? Because if the players fail, we see it. If the management fail, we will not see because they are not mostly tangible. But it would affect the general cause, why we did not qualify. So I think we need to be very careful and strategic about some of these things. How do we assess management committee members and their performance? If the Black Queens don't have a psychologist, it should first start with them, because even if the captain does not recommend, what you do is that you study the mood, and then you can even make such a proposal. Oh, we think that we want to add this portfolio or profile to your team. What do you girls think? Okay, it's cool, no problem. Oh, come on, I think we can do better. We can do better.
Right. Michael, thank you very much for joining us on the show today. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. We'll get into, we didn't have enough time to get into the PSG and, other matters arising in the transfer market. But hopefully tomorrow, I'm sure, we'll do, just a little on the Black Queens, and then we'll get into other matters. Thank you very much for your time. Have a super day, Michael.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Right. That was Michael Asaribuedu joining us from Sporty FM 91.3 all the way in Kumasi. Kelvin Uswanta. Kelvin, final words before you go. I'll open the phone lines in a bit. 0542 571061 0542 571061. Give us a call now. Share your thoughts with us on, the issues we've been discussing. I already have a caller on the line, so Kelvin, let me just make that call and then we get into the business. Good morning to you. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Atu calling from Sema.
Right. Atu, let's hear you.
Raymond, please, concerning the Black Queens issue, have you gone through the release the ministry brought out very well?
Yes.
Check the attachment and check the signatories, right? Mm-hmm. Check even, let's say, an official document. What happens if you cancel or what? Make a correction on it. What do you do to it?
You sign against it?
Thank you very much. Mm-hmm. So can I say the attachment, the one they released, concerning it is a fake document? Because check it well. The changes on it. I think they changed it to meet the current date. I would not take that document as an original document. It's a fake document. So we shouldn't bash the girls. How do you sign something? Mistakes, look at it very well. I don't think it's a genuine document. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Atu, for joining us on the show. Atu believes that, the document from the sports ministry is not correct. Let's see. Good morning to you. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good morning, Ray. This is Anobio.
Anobio, let's hear you.
Good. You see, you have done a lot of work on Black Queens this morning. But some of us, we very agree with you. Because with all the management committees in place, with the team and all that, see, I don't think these girls will just come out with anything like that. You were making references whereby you said they should have contacted the FA, they should have contacted the management committee. You and I doesn't know how many times they have done that before coming out with this. And indeed, for 20 years, for them not qualifying to the World Cup, if this year they don't qualify, I don't think it's something that because they couldn't qualify, they have to come and blackmail some particular government or particular people or minister or anything. You see, we should look at the girls' list, very important. Why would they come out and say their last year, 2025, bonuses hasn't been paid when it has been paid. You see, sometimes we can look at the way politicians deal with issues are different. Here in the case that someone has really studied the documents and trying to point holes in it that those reference documents could be altered. You see, we should calm down with the girls. These are very fragile girls. Yes, they didn't do well. And I don't think they are finding a place to hide because they didn't do well. We all saw it in their faces. You and I don't wish to go to the World Cup more than these girls because it will boost their opportunities of playing in better clubs. So they want to go as well. How about we looking at the coach's performance? The coach didn't do well. But we haven't pointed it out to him that he didn't do well. The coach, they were better players at the point in time on the bench that he could have brought on early. But he refused. Talking of asking for what do we call it, physiotherapists and isn't this part of management team? They are. So if the girl doesn't have it and they are asking for it, we shouldn't say they should focus on better things than that. The fact that they didn't win their matches doesn't mean they didn't go to that stage. They qualified. In a tournament, it's not always about winning. It's about getting results. They played to, they won few matches, they drew two, but they got there. That is the main important thing. It's a strategic way of moving forward in a tournament. You don't always have to win. So if they get there and the what do we call it? The minister decides to reward them. This time around, if you are not going to reward them, you should make it clear to them that listen, previously it wasn't obligatory, but I chose to do so. So this time around, if you don't win, you are not getting the bonuses. They will be clear. But if you leave it open and they are expecting money and the money doesn't come, why shouldn't they complain? They have every right to complain because it is their job that they are doing. Someone should also come in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anobel, for joining us on the show this morning. 0542571061. Good morning to you. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good morning. My name is Kwesi.
Kwesi, let's hear you.
All right. I think it's very, very some way that people are not really considering the fact that the girls might be right in this clear case. All things being equal, they will not one day issue a statement claiming all this. I'm sure they are spoken to the management and they really didn't get a response from them. So they will obviously hide their identity and everything and then release the statement because Charlie Bakusho. One day they may be asked from the national team and nobody would want to leave the national team because they release a statement. So I'm sure there's probably genuine reasons why they decided to issue the statement. Again, Remo, I think sometimes we should also consider the fact that we should do a thorough checkup, like what the first caller was saying. The signatory is quite different when you critically assess the signatory. The first document or the attached documents, the signatories is different from the other ones. I think you could have also asked questions rather than, bashing the girls, because some of us, we work in the government institutions and someone can just go in to go and sign some documents which you are not really aware, especially if your boss wants to claim the money. So it could be that maybe the management committee member could have signed in place for the girls and they have taken the money, which the girls are not really aware of it.
So that is why the said document is out. If indeed the girls did not receive money and somebody has written their names and signature against a certain amount of money, I am sure they can use the same platform they used to voice out to question some of these things. So it shouldn't be, you see, this shouldn't be up for debate. If you
Raymond,
receive
the
money,
point is,
you would speak
my
out.
point is, I get you. My point is, the statement was released, I think, yesterday. It's been like 12 to 18 hours.
Yes.
So let's also wait.
Yes.
So let's wait. Again, I'm not sure you'll be in a rush to release any statement. Do you get it? Because, you see, they don't want to be known to the public that these are the people, because the antennas, the ministry is looking out for whoever released that particular statement, and they will deal with the person. They will pay. So they have to be very careful about a clear case say that they should come out. They have to be very tactful about the issue. Do you get what I'm saying? So let's give them some time and let's concentrate on the match, because all things being equal, the way you people are also going that they cannot qualify, I don't think it's fair. They have family members as well to them, and you see it might affect them. If they don't qualify, then we'll come back and bash them. If your daughter or your sister was on the camp, you should really find out why. It could be that fine, they are trying to apportion blame and all that. I mean, that also works. All things being equal, that's how human beings are. But sometimes too, there's a bit of iota of truth in everything someone says. So let's consider it. And like the other caller was saying, if someone cancels a particular document coming from a government official, there should be an attached signature. On this particular case, there was not. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from. I'll just come on. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning. 0542571061, 0542571061. Give us a call and let's hear what you have to say. Good morning to you. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Please turn down the volume on your radio set, please, before we can continue with this conversation. Okay. If you can hear me, good morning to you and tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay, all right. My name is Asansi. I'm calling from Amasama New Life.
Let's hear you.
Okay, all right. I think the issue and discussion is very, very important. And it calls for a national discourse, because for me, once they are representing Ghana, it is Ghana that is at stake at the moment. And so whatever it takes for us to redeem ourselves is always very, very important. I know people will not just stand up and issue statements. And the ladies, as they have issued statements, there might be concerns. And I think the ministry also wanted to clear itself. That's why it has also responded. But I think the response was too swift. At least there should have been one or two engagements. Because if it has become something like a banter, and we have lost focus of the fact that the girls are even going to play today, representing not themselves, but even the country. So we have to be very, very mindful of some of these things that go on. But very importantly, we have to look at the performance of the team in general. I don't know whether it's the coaching or not of factors come to play, and that is one thing we have to look at, because the Black Queens that below, this is not how we know them to play. And I could see that this was a very good opportunity for them to at least win the WAFCON for the first time. But look at what has happened. And it is quite unfortunate, because even before they go into the tournament, I don't know the caliber of players that are actually taking to the tournament based on merit or whatever. Because if it comes to the Black Stars, we are very critical about the call-ups and the players that are called. But if the Black Queens, I don't know whether we are also critical about the call-ups or the players that are called, or because we saw that, the Black Queens there, they do better, so at least they will go and play. But looking at the performance that they have actually showed, I don't know. I think the coaching has not gone well, and then the flow of play. So if this thing was indeed lurking around the girls, why then did they accept fully that they are going to play? And before then, what was the engagement that they had with the ministry or the FA or whatever before they went out to play? And if you go like this, and the country is supporting you, and all these things are coming up, it becomes very, 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 very discouraging. But at the end of it all, let us see how best all these issues can be resolved, because it is Ghana that is at stake, and not individual issues that we have to look at. And investigations, thorough ones, should be conducted into this. And it should not just be a method. People who are culpable, they should be punished. And then it will serve as a yardstick as you move along. So that it will not just be a talk shop, and at the end of it all, you say, oh, that's this, so let us just pick everything that is covered. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us on the show this morning. Let me pick my final call before we take the show home. 0542571061. My final caller is on the line. Good morning to you. Tell us your name and who are you calling us from. Yes, hello. Good morning, Dr. Ray. This is the one and only Achekeria in Tema. Achekeria, let's hear you. Yeah, so I want to dive in a bit into the bonuses and stuff. Right. So whenever these kind of issues come up, people are rather looking at the authenticity of the letter, whether there were signatories and other stuff. But there's always truth behind whatever that is seen. The moment maybe one of the girls come out to say, "Oh, I am the one who did it," she should be targeted. Should be asked from the team. When whatever it is due them, you have to give it to them. We all know that there might be talks behind the scenes. The girls have been mute, they have been spoken to, but it keeps dragging. From when they played all the matches till now, they haven't still been paid. So when I go to pay them, if they don't bring this out for we to speak for them, those people in charge will never pay.
But have you seen the statement from the sports ministry?
I've seen it.
They said that the claims are not accurate.
So I listened to the PRO on another network. He's saying they are paid. But me, I run a business. If you are paying me, you send the prompt and you haven't received the message and haven't received the message and you are telling me you've paid. I can't accept that. He said,
but this is tabletop payment. You take your money, you count, you write your name, you sign, and you go with your money. That's how these things are done, especially with per diem payments. They are done on tabletop.
Oh, so then the ministry shouldn't have even brought out a letter. The person who signed.
So the ministry brought out a release and attached copies of the claim sheets that the players put their signatures on. So who was the signatory? The players. So the players have their signatures on that list as having received the amounts they signed against. So that is what the ministry released yesterday. Interesting. Let me touch more on Michael's suggestion. Right. They have to just put out a contract, everyone signs, or the captain signs when it is due. So no minister will come and promise that when you qualify, I'll give you this. It shouldn't be done. We know we are taking 10% when you qualify, we are taking 50%. It is there, a template. But everybody follows. All of those things are communicated to the players even before the tournament starts. But is it in writing? I want to believe so. The captains, I think the FA, the FA shares a document with the captains. That's what I know happens with the Black Stars, and the captains, share the same information with their players. Okay, interesting. So we have watched all the matches. I still keep on watching the matches. I'll be watching today. Right. Good morning to everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. And at this point, we will not pick any more calls. But let me remind you that Stanbic Bank says, imagine being in the stands for the UEFA Champions League. Here's your chance to experience 90 minutes of pure football magic. Simply spend $500 or more using the Stanbic Money Wallet MasterCard from now till August 14, 2026. And you could win 2 tickets to the league phase of the UEFA Champions League 2026-2027 season. Tickets are courtesy MasterCard, official sponsors of the UEFA Champions League. Are you game? Give them a call now. Give Stanbic Bank a call now on 0302 81 5789. 0302 81 5789. Or visit their website www.stanbicbank.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. The world on your card. That's a message from Stanbic Bank. And let me talk to you about Rexona Geo Spray. And Rexona's motion sense technology has microscopic capsules that sit on your skin and burst with friction as you move, releasing extra burst of freshness for every step you take and every move you make. Rexona Geo Spray says, choose Rexona, choose protection that moves with you. Made for motion, made for you. Rexona is what I recommend for you this morning as you want to smell fresh and move around with all the confidence and energy that you need. Tamala Void says they are taking you to Gambia this summer. Enjoy the very beautiful beach vibe around the Combo Beach in the Gambia. Now, every package is discounted and it includes round trips from Accra to Banjul, 3 nights hotel stay with breakfast, city tours, airport transfers, airport security fees, and a special Friday BBQ dinner at the beach. Well, the package includes flights plus your stay at the Combo Beach Resort, and the prices range from a single fee of 15,566 to a double of 27,000 cedis, and of course a triple that would be at 38,920. Package is available from June to October, with December packages coming soon. Tamala Voyage says they organize group, individual and corporate packages with guided tours, and also they can put together a package for you specially. Just give them your dates and they would have you join them with a very special package. A package made for you by you. Book your summer getaway now at Tamala Voyage. You can give them a call or send them a WhatsApp message on 025-630-8402, 025-630-8402, or follow them on their verified Instagram page at Tamala Voyage Accra, or on their Facebook page, Tamala Voyage Ghana. This message clearly is to all our holiday makers out there. If you want to see Gambia, Tamala Voyage will take you straight to Gambia. All this all time will allow us on today's edition of Sporty Breakfast. A big thank you to the entire production team, Immortale Jakwe Champion, Yusuf Desaja Isa, Fidelis J, Angela Menta, Abigail Sena Sosu, Yusuf Desaja Isa, Emmanuel Ayamga, David Kofite, Janet Nani Kramankwa. A big thank you to you all for providing all the support today. And to our team lead, Gary Al Smith. A big thank you to you for all the support this morning. And then to the technical team who provided all the technical support on the show, Biggie, Yeyo, Trace, Douglas, Jonathan. They made sure all technical issues were resolved swiftly. A big thank you to the team. And you are listeners out there, you are the real MVPs. We do this every morning because of you. A big thank you to you for staying with us. Join us tomorrow morning for another interesting edition of Ghana's #1 sports morning show, Sporty Breakfast. I did this with Nathan Kwao. My name is Raymond Yamado. Programming on Sporty continues. At 10:05, we bring you Inside French Football with Nathan Kwao. And then at 12, we bring you the news. At 12:30, we bring you Sporty Plug. At 4 p.m., we bring you Sporty Drive. And then at 7, we bring you European Nights. And then at 10, we bring you Ball Up Top with Winston Michaels and Rondo. In between time, lots of podcasts for you, lots of sporty stories for you. Keep listening to Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 102.5 in Takoradi, and 91.3 in Kumasi. Sporty FM, we are the voice of sport. Up next is Inside French Football with Nathan Kwao.
Unbelievable! Sporty FM Gajia, the voice of sport. This is Sporty FM, the voice of sport. Live from Accra, this is Sporty FM, Ghana's first 24/7 sports radio station.
It is showtime. Let the entertainment begin. On the
Live from Accra, this is Sporty FM, Ghana's first 24/7 sports radio station.
More like Dingy 667.
Les bonbons sont remplis de cocaïne. Flexi, Dakatine en guise de protéines. Banks, tu connais chez nous que la 09. Si je sors le faire, c'est pas pour les meufs. Zéro blême, j'ai des gaines, pousse-toi, glisse. J'ai pas le temps de ken, mais tu peux me laisser. Encore des cas, je me casse pendant que tu naisses. T'es mal à Kishta, t'es mal à taille de la Kishta. T'es mal à Kishta, t'es mal à taille de la Kishta.
20-20, drill 4, sont dépassés comme des Dreamcast. Mais gros tu rappes comme un 2004. Avant 30 ans faut que je dépasse les 2000K. Mon clair, allemand, mentalité allemande. Dans les pockets j'ai la quiche, t'as le lin, les antidépresseurs et les calmants. J'ai blanc en réflexe comme Allison, négro, je suis foncé dans le vaisseau comme Harrison.
Bonjour à tous, bonjour tout le monde.
Comme le Radisson. Les sandales, faut que c'est négro, c'est des snitch, c'est des randales.
C'est un autre jeudi.
Rien que je les croche, je les mets dans la sauce 100 balles.
Comme vous le savez déjà, c'est l'heure.
Nouvelle lobo, tu peux plus qu'au bout. Aperçois qu'il y a des pics au bout. Demi-tour, slide. Nouvelle lobo, tu peux plus qu'au bout.
C'est là pour votre émission préférée. C'est Inside French Football. Welcome to Sporty 106.1 in Accra. Welcome to Sporty 102.5 in Takrady, 91.3 in Kumasi. My name is Nathan Kwai. Welcome to another exciting episode of Inside French Football. Yep. The only show this side on this side of the world where we talk about the beautiful gift called French football. Oh, it's always fun talking French football. The excitement, the skill, the thrill, the backstories, the dramatic moments, and some very serious issues. All of it come together to form French football. And it's always fun bringing you the show. My name is Nathan Kwa. Once again, your comments are welcome on 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. We're on all the platforms. We're on X and Instagram at SportyFM_. We're on Facebook at SportyFM. We're on YouTube. We're on TuneIn. You can listen to us anywhere at any time. Many shouts to my production team, Emmanuel Ayamga and Fly. They are the ones who put all the nice images on. They are the ones who ensure that the stream works and everything. Many shouts to my DJ Fidelis. He drops all the wonderful French songs you hear on this show, or you've been hearing since the very beginning. We always talk about the playlist. Maybe one day we need to sit down. I even lost track of all the jams we've played on the show. Alrighty. What's on our menu this morning? Of course, we'll go back to last night. We'll go back to Salzburg to talk about Paris Saint-Germain beating Aston Villa by 2-1. Le back-to-back. Le back-to-back affair. Paris Saint-Germain winning the UEFA Super Cup again. So we'll talk about that, how they did it, what the way forward is, and now Paris Saint-Germain setting themselves up for yet another glorious season. We'll talk about all of that. Plus, we'll do some transfers. All kinds of interesting moves are happening in the world of French football. Players are on the move. Players are being courted. And then we'll talk some on-field action. Olympique Lyon, they were involved in the Champions League qualifier during the week, they took on Sparta Prague. Lyon are trying to qualify to the Champions League. We'll talk about how they fared and potentially what is next for Olympique de Lyon as they get ready for a very important season. Let's not forget that Lyon have money problems. Money. Well, they've had some money problems. They are hoping that everything will go well for them. So that's what we'll be discussing today. So your comments are welcome. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. The question of the morning. Now, after watching Paris Saint-Germain play last night and after seeing them win the UEFA Super Cup, what do you think they'll be able to achieve this season? Let me know. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. All right, allons-y. On commence. Let's start off as usual with a jam. Today is Thursday. They call it Throwback Thursday, so I respect the tradition. I'll take you way back in time to the heady days of some hardcore French rap. Today, we are going into the camp of two very respected rappers, right, who graced the mic back in the day in France. One of them is still quite active. The other is no longer active, but they joined forces to produce this wonderful song called Le Même Sang. And it's from Cynique, featuring Diem. You can call Diem probably the greatest French female rapper of all time. Strong character, very political rapper. And so she joined Cynique on this jam called Le Même Sang. That's how we start today's edition of Inside French Football. Si vous êtes prêts, on est prêts, allons-y.
This is Sporty FM, the voice of sport.
Mon frère, il serait temps que tu te calmes. Qu'on soit qu'on parle car aujourd'hui les parents craquent. Regarde ta vie, regarde ce que t'as réussi à faire. T'es voué à l'échec et t'as fait pleurer ta mère. À force de jouer avec la rue, t'as perdu tes principes. T'es plus qu'une cible pour les flics, t'es plus qu'un gosse sans avenir. J'en ai marre des réunions de famille entassées au parloir. T'as pas le droit de niquer leur vie, non t'as pas le droit de nous faire ça.
J'ai pas choisi le mois passé sous les barreaux. Je ne suis pas fier d'accélérer le vieillissement de la daronne. L'argent ça va mais je préfère quand ça vient. J'ai fait tout ça pour qu'on soit bien, pour que le frigo soit plein. Je crois que tu comprends pas.
Quoi?
La rue me braque, je suis là pour payer le loyer. Pourtant c'est toi qui as eu le bac. J'ai trébuché mais tout va bien, rien de cassé.